Many of Phish's songs have evolved over the years, and Character Zero is no exception to this. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play it from start to finish and share some of the ways that the song has changed and evolved over time. Hey, Chris here. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to show you the old school way Trey used to play the intro, and then I'll show you the more current way. One of the biggest differences, there are a couple of them, but the biggest one I think is that in the old school version that I'm going to show you now, I don't think he used a pick, and it was more kind of finger style, and it had a little more snap to it and a certain kind of pop to it. The newer, kind of more recent versions, I think he uses the pick. I'm going to give you a tip on how you can kind of tuck the pick away and then grab it again. The way that I like to do it is like this. So I'm holding it just kind of probably the typical way. I've got the thumb and the index kind of clamping down on the pick. But what I'll do is tuck it in between my middle finger. It's kind of hard to see that, but I'll turn my hand like that. Hopefully you can see that. And then I take the thumb to the pick and use it to grab it and then go away from it like that. Got access to it there, and then we tuck it away. I have no idea if that's something Trey does. I'm just sharing that as the way I do it. I used to sit there in middle school in class with a pick and just practice that over and over. So hopefully that gives you a way you can easily tuck it away and grab it again. So I'm going to tuck it away for this. First, I'm going to play it slowly and then explain what's going on. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So we start with a pull off from 3 to open on the low E string. Jump down to D string. Do a similar move, but this time 2 to open string. Mute the A string. I do it with the thumb. Then 5th fret of D to 2nd fret of D. That first little bit. Then we go open D, 2nd fret, mute, pull off from 5 of D to 2, and then we're going to go 3 of the B string, which is the note D. That whole first half goes. 2, 3, 4, E, and the first bit is going to be the same. The only thing is we land on C sharp on the 2nd fret of the B string instead of 3rd fret. Everything else is the same. Here are those two parts put together at the kind of full tempo. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. A couple more. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, E, and 1, 2, 3, 4. He does usually put a little vibrato on those higher tones at the end of the phrase. To set up this next version, we're still going to play the 3rd fret of E and do a pull-off, but we do it with the 3rd finger now, and with the pick. Now 2nd fret of D, mute the A string, then open G, back to 2nd fret of D. So that's the main difference, is one has open G, the other has 5th fret of D. I always, if I have a choice, well, I shouldn't say always, but 99% of the time, if I have the choice between a fretted note and an open note, I'll always pick, well, almost always pick the fretted one, because I can control the intonation, the vibrato. I just have way more control over the note than I do if it's open. If it's an open string, I'm just kind of at the mercy of how well the string is in tune, how well the guitar is intonated, stuff like that. At any rate, let's go back and do that again. That part is also, pretty much the same, other than the note G is again on the open string. So open D, 2nd fret. There's that kind of mute that happens. Open G, back to 2nd fret of D, and then we're going to resolve this part of the phrase up on 3rd fret of the B string, which is the note D, and then we just kind of rinse and repeat and switch the last note to C sharp. That's the only difference. Here it is a little more more up the tempo. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, couple more, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may have noticed when I played that, the fingers are kind of bouncing around, almost like they're dancing around. And part of that is because we have to really control the open strings. And a lot of times the third finger, the ring finger, is kind of playing damage control in terms of muting stuff that you don't want ringing out. If you watch more current versions of Trey playing this, you'll see the same kind of thing. He's really dancing around, muting those strings that he doesn't want heard. I'm doing pretty much the same thing here. So let me know which version you prefer in the comments. I like them both for different reasons. The one I just did, I guess it's a little, in some ways easier to play, especially if you're singing and playing it at the same time. I do prefer the sound of the old version quite a bit more though, but that's just me. Now in terms of the form, what we do is on the very last time that we play that intro riff, we play an A chord and build it up when the drums come in, and then we kind of kick it into the chord progression. So here's what that last round or last couple of rounds would sound like. I'm going to go back to the original way of playing the intro riff. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, hey. And then there's this classic, almost like Led Zeppelin type riff that happens from the A to the note G. It's not really a chord or anything. It just kind of leads you to the E really beautifully. I hope you're enjoying the lesson. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and please consider becoming a member of the channel and hit the join button. And also, if you're around, I'm doing a live stream this Friday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm talking all about how you can get more out of your pentatonic playing by transitioning more smoothly, adding modal tones, and seeing arpeggios in all the different positions, plus a bunch of other little tips and tricks you can play around with and get something out of. Hope to see you there. Now back to the lesson. Next up, we're getting into the chord progression. This will be pretty simple, but there are a couple different versions that Trey plays around with. He kind of swaps out a couple of the chords here and there. I'm going to show you the old school version and then get into the more current versions. We're going to go to an E chord after that build up. Let me kind of lead into it from the A. Now we go E, G, A, D, sus2. This is interesting because back in the day, he would play this kind of D sus2 chord, and nowadays it doesn't seem like he does it, or at least not consistently. I can't really find versions of him playing that chord. But back in the kind of mid-90s when this was first coming out and being played, he definitely did a D sus2 there. Before I put all the chords together and play the progression, the rhythm, the strumming pattern, is going to go down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. It has a swing to it. If it were a straight rhythm, it would go down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. Hopefully you can hear the difference there. It hopefully comes across with these muted strings, but here's straight. Here's swung. So that's more the vibe we're going with. Here we go. E, G, A, D, E, G, A. Now the only difference here is that leading into the chorus, we do that same A build-up. So the last round would go like this. E, G, then A. With that same kind of riff, A to G leading back into the E major chord. Okay, so like I mentioned, the more current versions are a little different. He leaves out the D, as far as I can tell, completely, and then the G has some different voicings he plays around with. Either way, the E is the same. Then sometimes he plays this more kind of cowboy style G chord. Then A is the same. He just doesn't do the D, so that's the only difference there. The other version of G that I see him play sometimes is just a bar chord. So nice and easy there on the 3rd fret. It's a G major. You go 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3 from the low E string to the high E string. And really that's it. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. It's either this G, which is just kind of your basic triad form, this G, which is also a basic triad. It's just got 2 octaves stacked on top of each other. And then this right here, this bar chord, it's important to remember that while it's not all that crazy different, it is kind of inverted in the middle. You have a root, then a 5th, then an octave of the root, I should say, then the 3rd, then another 5th, and then a 3rd G in there. So in that voicing, you've got 3 different Gs, 2 Ds, and 1 B. I'll play a couple times with the open style G, and then a couple with the bar chord. Now here's with the bar chord. I want to share a couple more parts in this tune. In the second verse, there's this walk-up that happens leading into the second chorus. Where this part comes in is in the second verse, we play through 7 times through of that chord progression going E to G, A. Maybe you're doing the version with the D, or maybe not. All good either way. But on the 7th round of it, let's suppose we're on the 7th one, we're going to go E to G. Okay, now here, instead of playing an A chord, what Trey does is he does this really cool 2-note walk-up thing. So we're going to slide up into the 5th fret of the B string while playing the open E string. We're going to keep that E string open. So the strum pattern goes down, up, down. Down, up, down. Go up to the 7th fret of B. 8th fret. 10th fret. And this is where he's saying, no one taught that to me yet. We go up to the 12th fret, 14, 15, and then finally we cap it off at 17, and it leads us right into the chorus again. So here's what that part sounds like, kind of in action, coming from the chords before it. And then we're right back to the chord progression. So that's that. Nothing too crazy, but I feel like it is an important part of the song that Trey does every time. So really simple but effective. And real quick, what mode do you think he's playing with there? If you were to take that and plot it out, it's on a line, so it's a nice linear pattern. What mode would that be? But pause it, put your answer, and then if you've already unpaused it, if you already did it, the answer would be it's E Dorian, because we're going root to a 2nd, to a minor 3rd, to a 4th, to a 5th, to a major 6, to a flat 7, and then back to the root. And really that's just the D major scale starting on the 2nd degree, which is E. Now one more part that's really important that comes in is this kind of 2-note bend section that's kind of the lead part. And he kicks on the wah pedal. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to do it kind of more of a clean version of it. This is a really fun technique to play around with. So what we're going to do is, in this case, we're going to hold down E on the 12th fret of the E string, and then we're going to play the note D on the B string. That's on the 15th fret. We're going to play those notes at the same time, but we're going to pull the B string, or bend it rather, up to match the pitch of E. You can probably hear, even in the recording here, there's like a wobble that happens on the way up to the notes getting closer to each other. There's this kind of wave that goes slow and then fast, and then it kind of locks in. And that's part of the effect that we're going for here. And so we're going to have two versions of this kind of bend. In a second, I'll play the whole thing, but you're going to have one that is basically bending up to an E, and then one that does the same trick, but with the note B. So we're going to have a B on the 12th fret of the B string. This time, we're going to be on the 14th fret of G with the ring finger again, and then we bend it up. You know, if this is a newer technique for you, one thing that I find kind of helpful to make it work is it's almost like the fingers are moving away from each other. Even though that one finger on the lower string is staying put, basically, the way I'm really thinking of it and even kind of acting it out physically is it's almost like I'm pulling that one down, but it's really more just to counteract the other one going up. So if you're having a hard time with like maybe the index is moving up like that, you know, think of pulling the other way, like away from each other. Same thing here. It's just a great sound. Great sound to play with, and Trey definitely makes use of that a lot of times in different jams. Now that we've got the two-note bend for both notes, let's kind of put it together with the lead part. So we're going to go like this. I've noticed on some live versions, it seems like he kind of takes out one of those B notes I was doing, so more like... So they're really similar, just a subtle difference. One has kind of just one extra note and fills it in a little more. And he does that 8 times, and on the last one, usually there's a little bit of a landing, and it's different every time. It might be something like, you know, something to that effect, just like a little bit of a resolution with your E minor pentatonic. Sometimes they'll stretch out that jam kind of after the two-note bend part, and Trey will kind of go off for a little while. If you were going to do that kind of thing, I would stay with like an E Dorian kind of vibe. E minor pentatonic kind of thing would work really well with this chord progression. And then they go back into the chord progression, back into the E, G, A kind of thing. If you're doing the old school version, throw that D in there or leave it out. Either way, it sounds awesome. That's it. That's the whole song. It's a really fun, easy one to get down that has some really cool riffs, really cool chord progression, some fun bends in there, so you can't go wrong with it. Hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if there's another song you'd like me to break down, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.